Alien Romulus, Sean. We said we'd do a little. If you haven't seen it and you're living under a rock, we said we'd do a little non-spoiler first.
We'll do a non-spoiler, and then
the guns will come out. Then there's no hold barred.
We'll probably film a spoiler filled review, and we might post that just on our Patreon page, just for patrons only. But
John, what did you think? Because you saw it again as well, so we've both seen it twice. And am I right in saying you've kind of reevaluated your first impression a little bit?
Yeah. So I went into this film, and I went into it, speaking in the last podcast, thinking, you know what, I don't want anything amazing. I just want a badass horror movie. Yeah. And I left the theatre a little bit disappointed because I think I was wanting something more than I was originally letting on.
I think our first reactions could be more different then, because I came out of it like absolutely pumped. I was like, I haven't had this much fun in watching a film in the cinema for ages. And yeah, it wasn't a kind of, I'm not going to say it was a cinematic masterpiece, but I had so much fun with the film, and it's reignited my love for the kind of franchise as well. I mean, I love Prometheus, but I could hardly remember a single thing about Alien Covenant, the follow-up that Ridley Scott did. Yeah. And I'm kind of sad. I'm always kind of sad that we never got that kind of thread or plot line finished. In terms of the engineers and what happened with those.
They fascinated me so much.
They really did. And maybe it was the unknown of what they were and what they were trying to do. But I just wanted that connection properly cemented. Like, what were they doing? And it will never be finished.
You wanted a full circle of it. It will never be finished because the fans don't want it.
It's so annoying. But obviously, we knew Fede Alverez was going into this kind of paying homage to the original. I didn't expect it to be as much of a legacy sequel as it was. Like, this was a proper legacy sequel, and actually it's the first one I've seen that I think does it right. It pays homage to the original and is similar, but it also is its own film as well. I'm not going to say it covers any new ground or revolutionizes the canon or the wheel or anything like that, but it does what it sets out to do. It's an exciting, fun film.
When you say legacy film, when I think of legacy, I think of returning old characters to pass the mantle over to new characters. I don't think it's
even old characters. No, like Jurassic World is a legacy sequel, and there's no old characters in that.
What, the first Jurassic World?
Yeah,
right.
That's a legacy sequel, isn't it? Because they go back to the old park, don't they? And you loved that scene where they kind of find the old Jeep and the old kind of goggles and stuff like that.
Yeah, I guess
it's
so.
a legacy of the original.
Yeah.
I get what you mean about old characters coming into it.
And passing the mantle.
I mean, I think they've kind of, the Alien canon is so kind of fractured with the time jumps and the cryo sleeps and what happens to Ripley and that and nobody survives. Like, but you say bringing back old characters, but obviously we're not going to spoil anything. But
yeah, there's homages. It's not the specific character, but it's someone that you'll know and recognize. It's
I think
there's been actually a lot of controversy around that.
I don't think
that
there should be any controversy around it. I think it was done so well. It was done with love, and it was done properly.
With
care.
Those people that are complaining should just shut up because Fede Alverez went to. So it's not really a spoiler, okay? It's Ash from the original film, okay? The person, the actor that played Ash from the original film, who played the robot or the artificial intelligence. In the first movie, comes back in this as a different character, but it's his model robot. Yeah. And Fede Alverez has said in an interview that he went to the family of the actor and asked for permission, and they gave it because he loved the character.
The original film. This was Ian Holm, the actor, wasn't he? Who played Ash, but he was called Science Officer. He's called Science Officer Rook in this. No spoilers of what happens with his character, but I think they do it really well. And apparently, Fede Alvarez said that was actually Ridley Scott's idea to bring back, because he's obviously heavily producing this film.
Yeah.
I just wish that he could have had the chance to connect it. Maybe they still will someday. And
Carry on. I'm just going to close this window.
Yeah. And I think What I liked about it, what made it could have been a direct clone of the original film, but this new cast of characters that they come in, yeah, in a way, but this new character that they bring in, and one problem, sorry, I keep going back on myself, but with Prometheus and Alien Covenant, they had the same plot as Alien, didn't they? Where you have this female protagonist, everyone else dies, and then they go off and survive in the end. It's exactly the same every time, and no spoilers what happens with this, but I think the actual character was believably different.
Yes.
Like, and her motivations, her relationship with the other character, Andy. I really bought that, and I bought, her name's Kaylee Spaney, I think.
Yeah, okay.
I really bought her performance in it, and I think if you don't have a solid performer for that main protagonist, the film will fall flat a little bit, and I bought that. I thought all of the, not all of the actors, I thought the main two protagonists, Andy and I think her name's Rain. Were really good.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say that. I would say that the performance that stuck out to me the most wasn't necessarily Rain. She's not as strong of a character as Sigourney Weaver, let's say. I think in terms of a heroine.
She's a younger character, though, isn't she?
Yeah, she's a younger
She's more
character.
unsure, and she's more kind of.
But I wouldn't say, in terms of a character, wouldn't say she's as strong, and her performance is outshined by the actor that plays Andy, who is the animatronic in this movie. He in this movie just. I don't know. He just blew me away. I think he had so much to play with,
and he almost has a dual performance as well.
Yeah, he has. He gets system updates and all this stuff, and his prime directive changes throughout the movie, and it creates some interesting dynamics.
My one problem with it though is like in the original Alien film, it was a surprise that he was an android. Yeah, and in Prometheus, they asked kind of deep philosophical questions about life and philosophy, about what it means to be human and what true life is.
Yeah.
And they didn't really do that in this film.
They did 100%. They did.
Do you think they did? I don't think they did.
They did it directly with dialogue.
With the protocol, do you mean?
No. I think they did it directly with the dialogue in the original films.
Okay.
There was a lot of on the nose questions regarding that. However, in this film, it was not only the performance, but the way the other characters treated the android, which made you feel sympathetic towards this character and therefore pose those inner questions within yourself. How would you treat this this thing that doesn't feel anything and it's not human?
I did see that. I don't think that the protagonist really had any questions at all though around that.
No, it wasn't directly mentioned, but I feel like they touched on it subtly in such an effective way because it made you feel something for the android, but it's an android, so it brings up these questions of is he a sentient being in yourself without directly talking about it in the film. Yeah. So I think it still posed those questions and those debates. So I think they did it really well in that. And yes, I love philosophical talk. I love like I said, in Prometheus, the engineers, I want to know more about the lore and all of these different things. But I don't need it to be again discussed directly to me.
Yeah, but then I question, and there's a YouTuber I follow that said this, is that does the film have anything new to say, or is it just a generic monster movie?
Yeah, it doesn't have anything new to say. And I said that in my Letterboxd review. I gave it a 3 to begin with.
Yeah,
because I was a little bit disappointed.
I wouldn't give it that. I'd give it a 3.5.
Yeah,
I think when I first came out of it, I was so pumped up and excited. I was saying 4, but then I think I'd revise it to 3.5 after seeing it a second time.
Yeah, same.
Because it does become just not necessarily generic, but more of that cliche monster movie. I love the xenomorph so much as a creature, and like I really felt the fear when the xenomorph first appeared in this.
Yep.
But then it loses its threatening nature.
Yeah. I 100% agree.
And obviously it being Alien, there's all sorts of monsters in these different films and creatures and aliens. And there's another one towards the end of this film, no spoilers as to what it kind of is. But I was freaked out when it first appeared, but I I didn't get the design of it. Apparently, I haven't seen Alien Resurrection or Alien 4, but apparently something very similar happens in that film. Right. And the design of the creature is much more believable and scary.
Right.
Yeah, I'll have to speak about that more in our spoiler review.
Yeah, it's so interesting because we've literally had the complete opposite initial reactions, and then we've come back and we've almost crossed paths, and now we're on different sides because originally
you loved it.
Originally, I came out a little bit disappointed. I gave the movie a 3-star on Letterboxd, and I came to watch it again a second time with my brother, and I came out of that movie thinking, actually, I had a really good time with it. I upped it to 3.5. The first half of this movie is fast-paced, relentless, brilliant, absolutely brilliant, and it's up until the first, I guess, encounter with the grown xenomorph, and then after that, it kind of loses it. There's a moment in this film where it switches from horror to action, which is Alien to Aliens, and I don't think the action was good enough.
It
wasn't good enough.
Limited amount you could do. I actually found myself on the second half waiting for a bit to get started. To the action.
Really?
Yeah. Like I love the opening of this film, and I do think it actually has a nice bit of world building and lore. Mm-hmm. And by the way, this film is like amazingly well shot. Like,
it looks beautiful.
Amazing.
It's the best Alien looking movie.
The lighting of it, the space shots, and the satellite and the spaceship shots look insane.
Yeah.
And even at the end as well, it looks insane. Mm-hmm. But I did find myself actually waiting a bit for the action because I quite like the action. So I like the bit. I won't spoil it, but I like the bit with the elevator.
Okay, that was okay. My favorite bit, and I won't talk about spoilers, but you know that there's face huggers in this movie. The face huggers in this movie are the best thing.
They're the most terrifying
they're the most terrifying they've ever been, and the set pieces, you see some of it is in the trailer. That whole beginning bit with the face huggers encounters is top notch.
Yeah, it is. It is really good. They are absolutely terrifying in it. One of my annoying gripes with this film is like the actual cast of characters, bar the protagonist, literally make the most stupid ever decisions. Almost as stupid in Prometheus when that guy, is it Prometheus or Alien Covenant, where the guy literally puts his hand in and grabs the thing, or goes straight up to it.
I can't remember.
They're like a weird evolved version of the facehugger, aren't they?
I'm trying to figure out what decision.
In Prometheus and Alien Covenant, they're like really stupid, given that they're scientists. They like
grab
the alien thing straight
that was
up
Prometheus,
and do stupid stuff. But in this one, the thing at the end, no spoilers. I'm like, what the hell is she doing? Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like this.
Well, no, I don't think that. We'll discuss it more in our spoiler review.
The deaths are good. The deaths are gory.
I don't think the deaths are good enough.
I do, but there's not enough of them because there's a small cast. But
they're not inventive.
There's really good kind of grotesque gore from like the scenery as well, like the past characters that have obviously been in it and stuff.
Yeah.
One of the main deaths is shown in the trailer, which really annoyed me. It should be like a really great moment, but you know it's coming.
Yeah.
It's like, why the hell do they have to show it in the trailer?
Yeah.
It really
everyone knows it's an alien film. You can't have an alien film without that death.
The whole point of Alien, when John Hurt gets the xenomorph burst out of his chest, is that it was meant to be shock. It was meant to be suspenseful. A cool little thing that I heard the other day, by the way, is Ridley Scott wanted the original Alien to kill Sigourney Weaver in the pod at the end, the escape pod, and then have it show Sigourney Weaver kind of do a comms back to Earth or wherever saying she's survived, and then it pans and the alien's mimicking her voice, which would have been like a horrendously shocking ending, wouldn't it? But the studio wanted us to survive to make it not as bleak.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool. But, where's the blooming
I'm sorry,
maybe
but
maybe it's our fault for watching trailers, but you can't help it when you go to the cinema.
Can I comment on the deaths? I think the deaths weren't that great. I think the chestburster, it's in the trailer, amazing. Despite seeing it, executed so well. I thought it was brilliant. When the music stops and there's a moment of pause, and then the girl screams,
and actually,
and then the just because
there's a lot,
but there's all the other deaths, Tom, are standard.
No,
you've seen those deaths before in other Alien movies. There's no real standouts.
Part of what makes the deaths okay in my eyes is that they're just animalistic brutality. They're just quick and that's it, because they can't be stopped.
I watched Aliens last night,
which I still haven't.
Which
seen.
You haven't still haven't seen.
I know.
We should definitely watch. The thing about Aliens, and this is why I didn't necessarily.
You said it was more of an action film.
Yeah, it's more of an action film, but I actually prefer it over Alien.
I love Alien,
and I'm telling you now,
probably one of my favorite films.
Alien Romulus, the action scenes in this, and this is why I was a bit disappointed, because the action scenes in Aliens is relentless. It's like making it out of a room by the skin of your teeth, because they're coming at you. It's brutal.
But they do in this. The facehuggers, they barely make it.
Yeah, that's the facehuggers are great. Yeah. But the xenomorphs, no, because the action scene. When I talk about action in this film, I don't talk about the beginning. I'm talking about the gun moment.
Yeah,
that's the action scene. It's shockingly bad.
The gun moment.
Yeah, the gun moment with the xenomorphs.
Yeah, but they wrote themselves into a bit of a corner with that because of something in the narrative that they can't use.
It was poorly executed. It wasn't like adrenaline filled. It was like, oh, this is happening.
Yeah.
Oh, it's ended.
Yeah. So I get that. My other big gripe, my gripe was with the kind of, what did I say it was with the characters, how they do stupid things.
Yeah.
I don't buy it narratively, but my other big gripe is I really just want them, and I kind of said this with my link to Prometheus, how I wanted them to bridge that gap, but I want the lore to progress a bit, not with the aliens. Necessarily, although I kind of did say that earlier, but just with Weyland Yutani and the world that they're in, like the company and the world that they're in, and hopefully, now that he's gone back and done his homage to Alien, I don't want a homage to Aliens, which Neil Blomkamp wanted to do, which he's kind of mentioned.
This has a lot of homage to Aliens as well.
Yeah, I don't want a homage again to Alien or Aliens. I just want something in that world that's new, because it can be done, because Alien did it, and Aliens did it.
Prometheus did it.
Yeah, and I was watching an interview with Christopher Nolan where he said he actually really likes Alien, David Fincher's Alien 3 as well.
Yeah, I haven't. I think I have seen that one. It's just Resurrection that I haven't seen. But to make comment on the last, I guess, 10 minutes of this movie, I'll speak loosely on it. At first, I didn't. At first, my reaction was, "What the? That's disgusting." And I was looking at everyone else, and everyone else around me were having the same reaction, and I thought that was good. However, when I came out of the cinema, I thought, again, I wanted the lore to be progressed a little bit, the story to be progressed a little bit. That didn't do that. It was just there to employ more scares, which is good for a horror, but not really for anything else. However, coming out of it the second time with my brother had a different perspective on it, and he said, because the xenomorphs in this movie, bar the introduction of the xenomorph, were not scary at all. He said the last 10 minutes were when he was scared, it was really effective.
Yeah, it's only because,
I guess it's new.
You don't know what it is. It's because there's one of them, and then it's in an isolated, secluded area. Yeah. And that's where the xenomorph, when it's first introduced, is scary in this film.
Yeah,
but
because it's
something happens where it makes it necessary. But as soon as you can kill them or kill lots of them,
but I disagree, because Aliens does it far more effectively. It's the way you film and you narratively structure the action that makes them feel
If you film and cut it together where you don't
Brutal.
see them a lot, and it's like fast-paced editing and things like that,
and they're literally making it out by the skin of their teeth.
Yeah.
That's how you direct action, and the action in this was not directed.
But he's
correctly.
not necessarily.
He's not an action director. He's a horror director, and he directs the horror elements really well.
But I am excited to see what he does with another one. I hope he gets to do another one. I hope he does well enough where he can do another one, because I want to see him take it in a different direction.
Yeah,
I don't want literally. What I really don't want to happen is that another spaceship finds some aliens and they get all killed with one person surviving.
I guess.
The end.
Yeah, I guess.
Not that that's what happens in this.
I guess what this film, like you said at the beginning, it's a legacy film, can be compared to as Force Awakens. It's very similar.
Oh yeah,
plot and narrative is
with
Alien.
Some kind of new characters in there, but
yeah, and hopefully, like you said, if he gets a sequel to it, he can create and form his own new story. And
this was his own story, though.
No, it's not. Yeah, no, but it's not, because it's still the same plot beats as the original. It's not really a standalone story. It's very similar.
So I'm guessing what he will write for the second one is that they find the alien queen from Aliens floating into the vacuum of space and take that on board. A ship.
Yeah.
No, I've become more pessimistic over the course of this review, but I had a really good time watching it.
Oh
I really did.
It's brilliant.
The first viewing of it, there were some audible gasps in the cinema, and it was really packed.
Yeah.
Those audible gasps were coming from me as well for a lot of it, but I did really enjoy it. The second viewing, I had time to sit and think about it a bit more.
It's the third best Alien movie, in my opinion.
Okay.
Why do you think?
I've only seen Alien, Prometheus, Alien Covenant, and Alien versus Predator.
So you'd probably put it second at this point.
Yeah, because I love the first one. Yeah. But my dad, who I went with, who saw the original Alien in cinemas when it came out,
79.
when he first saw it, he said, like, the John Hurt moment, he was like, "What the?"
Even
he was like, he was about 6.
Even this week when I rewatched it, because it was so quick. Like, you see it but it cuts away. Like, you see it and then it cuts away. You're just like, oh my God. And it looked so effective. It's brilliant.
I really bought the characters in the first Alien film. Like, they were believable.
Yeah.
Like, they were kind of older and more grizzled, and they looked like they'd been on ships for years and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It was a weird choice to have teenagers, wasn't it?
It was a good choice, though, I thought.
Did you?
Yeah, I thought it was bringing a younger audience to watch it. They could relate. And, I mean, narratively, they explain why they are.
Yeah, when I went to see, this is a 15 in the UK, so when I went to see it second time and we were standing outside talking about it, there was a kid that looked 15 with his parents saying, like, that was absolutely terrifying.
Yeah.
So it's done its job for
a younger audience.
And it was scary. I did think it was scary.